Hey, what's up, fam? Do you sometimes notice that there are series that end up, once something gets popular and it kind of gets, I wouldn't say clones or ripoffs, I would prefer to use the term inspired series that kind of more or less want to kind of jump on that train and see if they can do their own versions. If you find something that you really enjoy and you want to give your own kind of take on it. There's a lot of stuff out there. There's a lot of stuff that they'll take a popular thing. I mean, look at something like after Attack on Titan came out. How many big monster survival style series kind of jumped up? For instance, I know Terraformers and Dolly Kill Kill both very good. Have that same kind of style, but even though they were kind of set up about having a similar premise, they were still good in their own right, and they didn't feel just like somebody was copying it to try and get some cheap attention from that fan base. This is one of the series that I would like to bring up and mention, similar to how if those who have read Buster Keel is very similar to Fairy Tail, but at the same time still being a very enjoyable series, and I'm going to get to do a video on that at some point. This is one that if you like Seven Deadly Sins or Natsu no Taizai, who read the chapters that when the wherever websites that don't change the name for whatever reason, I don't know. I don't think it matters either way. This is a series that has a very similar plot. The main character is the leader of a group of these kind of super warriors, these seven super warriors that showed up and they ended a war. I mean, obviously that's not the same as what the Seven Deadly Sins did. They were part of the Leonis military, but a similar group of seven showing up and being part of a war in a way that you can kind of feel as no has that very similar touch. Now, obviously, what else could there be? The female lead is not only looking for this character, but she ends up running into him without knowing that it's him. She's looking for similar to how Elizabeth was looking for Meliodas. You have this character who is looking for the leader of this group, the Red Barons, and they called him the Blitzkrieg Baron, who I'll get to him in a little bit. And yeah, not only did she end up actually meeting the character she was looking for without realizing it, it had a similar kind of fan servicey, uh, a little bit pervy, pretty much touchy meeting, and that later once the female lead got put into a rougher situation, the male actual like the main lead, main lead of the series showed up to help them to rescue them, and at the same time, while being not a hero, not a good guy hero, is pushing towards soft anti-hero, similar to Meliodas. Now, this character, Rito, he's pretty cool. He's like the opposite of Meliodas in a lot of ways. He's actually very awkward and bad with girls. He has a long sword instead of a short sword. He's instead of this 5'3" Shota, he's a pretty tall beast. I think he's like 6 foot something. Uh, it's a very it's definitely one of those series, like I said, that if you read Seven Deadly Sins, you'd probably like this. You would like the premise. The art is good, the style is good, and I won't give any spoilers, but I would say it's weirder than Seven Deadly Sins. You'll know what I mean when you get there. But let me kind of go over a little bit about the series. Kind of like the layout of the series, without trying to I'm trying to avoid spoilers. Kind of like the layout is there's this world where numbers are kind of dictated everything. You have a number on your body that will either go up or down depending on something. So, for instance, there's a character who every time someone says that her cooking is good, the number will go up, and every time someone says that her cooking is bad, it will go down. And once you get zero, you'll get like sucked in the ground by like these like ghostly hands. But when you have a higher number, you can tell anybody lower than you what to do. And it's not like mind control, it's like they have to do it. And if they refuse, they have to begin this thing called a star theft bout, where you kind of have you fight for numbers. Like if I had 80 numbers and some guy with 100 numbers is like, hey, go get me a sandwich, and I said, fuck you, get your own goddamn sandwich. We get in a fight. If he won, I would have to get the sandwich, but he would take my numbers, and I would either be left with something like 1 or 0, and I'd get sucked into the ground. It kind of has this really cool power level style consequence system that I really like. I'm a little bit behind on the series. It's a monthly, so it has that long wait timer, but at the same time, it's worth it. Like just looking at the designs, like look at there's some cool ones. I covered up the one in the back a little bit more because it's cool, but I won't give any. I'm trying really hard to get spoilers. But if you look at the one on the right with the characters, the Red Barons, let's look at those designs. They're all very different. You have this kind of hooded person with these sick metallic shoulder guards. You have this like Japanese samurai with like this pretty cool like ogre. I think that's what it is. I think it's like actually was it like samurai yokai? I don't know what that exact style is. You have the main character with that weird mask. That's what I gotta mention. He wears a lot of weird masks. And then you have this fucking sick dude with this, he's got this big jacked arms. He's got this badass, like, Dark Souls style helm. Looks really cool. So, I'm going to put a link in the description below about this. This is going to, I'm just giving a general recommendation. Like, this is a good series. If you like 7 Days Sins, you like this. It doesn't feel like a ripoff. It feels like somebody's like, that's a really good premise. I like this series. And it gave me ideas to do my own version. And I can say this, like, I'm stuttering over myself. It feels similar in the setup, in the base layout, but I'll tell you, once it kind of like spreads off, it gets way different. So give it a try. I'll put a link in the description about it. Tell me what you think about it if you've already read it or you're interested. If you like these recommendation videos, I want to do. I like it when there's big gaps in chapters, and I remember like some really good series that you're just like, hey, remember that thing that you haven't read in a few months? Well, we've got 10 new chapters of it. Come read. And they're like, man, I think other people might like this. Maybe they already read it. Maybe I can gain some new people talk to about this series. So I'm gonna try and do more recommendations. I'm only gonna do stuff that I enjoy and legitimately recommend. I don't want to do just some stupid push stuff. There's actually a One Piece S series that I like more than One Piece, but I think it got canceled. Anyway, I don't want to ramble. So, yeah, check out the series. Tell me what you think about it in the comments below. Maybe check out my other videos, mostly manga stuff, Fairy Tail, Eden Zero, and Black Clover. If you're subscribed to my channel already, thank you. I appreciate it. If you aren't subscribed, I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe. I'm getting close to 500. I'm excited. I got some stuff to announce when I get to 500. I'll put that also in the description. My link to my Twitter. Follow me on Twitter if you want to be kept up on the time for live streams. And yeah, thank you very much for listening. Bye.